Hi, I'm Jeff Murrah. I want to welcome you to True Texas History. I'm glad you're here today. We're going to be talking about Bourland's Frontier Regiment and the female Lady Paul Revere of Texas. This is one of those episodes I wasn't even aware of until I started checking into it. You know, I've been on this kick of sharing some of the stories of the Confederate veterans and Texas volunteers in many of the counties where they're wanting to tear down the monuments. And my counter to it is to turn around and tell the stories of some of these people. You know, you've got places up and down the Red River now. Up and down the Red River, you know, you've got Wilbarger County and Red River County and a bunch of them. Well, during the war, you had the colonel who, what's his name, Jacobson, who went ahead and put together frontier militias. Actually, there were 7 militias that came from those counties, and many times the men from the counties would go back and forth between the militias. And their duty was to protect the settlers there in North Texas from Indian raids. And it was seen as a tough place at those times, you know, because the Indians took advantage of the situation, and there were a lot of raids being conducted. And one of the leaders who emerged was James, let me see his name, Jacobson. Hold on. Yeah, it was Jacobson, and he had been a former Indian agent for the Republic of Texas. In fact, he had a go-round as an agent of the Republic of Texas with the U.S. government going ahead and not wanting to pay duty on some of their stuff. He went round and round and actually ended up getting a sizable settlement from the U.S. government from sticking to his guns on that. Well, he also ended up being a state senator and a leading politician in the Red River area, because many of those counties worked together. Now, during the war, he was put in charge of keeping the peace up there in the northern parts of the state. Now, at one point, there was a place in Texas known as the Holland Trading Post, because Coffee Holland had a trading post there, and this was a notable trading post. This was oftentimes where the Indians would buy their liquor, but also it was where the Indians would come in and exchange their white prisoners and have them redeemed for money. White prisoners redeemed for money. That's something you don't hear much about, but it was at this trading post, Holland Coffee's trading post. Now, Holland Coffee ended up dying before the war started, and his wife, Sophia, ran it, and this apparently was a popular spot. And at one point, during the war, some Yankee scouts came and decided to visit her, and she had them over for dinner. And during the course of dinner, they revealed that they were preparing for a raid into Texas, and that they were hunting down this fellow by the name of Jacobson, who was in charge of all the frontier regiments. So somehow she kept her guest occupied while she took off. Now, some stories have her swimming across the Red River, others have her riding a donkey to warn Jacobson about the impending invasion. He was able to take action and stop it from happening, and that's why she gets the label the female Paul Revere of the South and of Texas. There were efforts to restore her house after the war. They disassembled it and they were going to reassemble it, but an accidental fire burned the wood while it was disassembled. So that's one of those things that have been lost to history. And this was an interesting story. And I think that the people of Wilbarger County and some of the other counties up there, Red River County, they have some fascinating history if they go ahead and preserve it rather than try to bulldoze it. So I wanted to share this one with you. I apologize for some of the errors and glitches as I had put this together, and hope you have a good weekend and learn more about the history of the area that you're at, because each county has some fascinating stories. If you have suggestions for future topics, I'll be glad to address them. Feel free to leave your comments down below. Found out about a site actually being run by one of my friends, 2x monuments, 2 times the monuments, mainly because he wants to restore some of the monuments that have been taken down. Check out his Facebook group. If you like it, that's good. I see it as a way of preserving Texas history and some of the stories and people, and remembering the people who went before and the price tag that they paid for our freedoms and liberties. So until next time, this is Jeff Murrow wishing you vaya con Dios, my friend. Goodbye.